This is one of the most, if not the most, competitive real estate markets we've seen in Moose Jaw in years. If you're thinking about entering into the Moose Jaw real estate market, what I'm about to show you in this video, you will not want to miss. Sure, it's a seller's market. Everyone and their dog can tell you that. Everyone knows that. But in this video, I'm going to tell you the truth about this market that other agents might not. And we're going to deep dive into the numbers so that you can be prepared to win in this market. Picture this. You get the home you actually want, not just the leftovers, not that house across the street that's been sitting there for 100 days overpriced. We're talking a fresh listing and you're not overpaying and you're not losing out to a multiple offer situation. Or you're a seller looking to get an offer over list price on your place. How do we actually do this? I just had a buyer score an off-market property where they were able to get an accepted offer under list price with no competition. If this thing had hit the market, all of you would have wanted to put in an offer and it would have sold over list price. So stay tuned because I'm breaking down exactly what's happening in our local market right now. So whether you're buying or selling, you'll be prepared to take action with confidence. And at the end, I'm sharing one little trick that my buyers are using right now to get access to listings before they even hit Realtor.ca so that they have that leading edge on what's coming out and what's hitting the market. So, two quick things before we get started. I'm Cody Polachek, local Moose Jaw real estate agent with Realty Executives. I've grown up in Saskatchewan my whole life. Moose Jaw is my hometown. I live here with my wife, my daughter, and my dog, and I have an education background. So high school teacher, now I'm a real estate agent, and so I'm here to help educate you about this crazy real estate market, and it is really a crazy market. So let me help so that you can be successful and you can achieve your goals. Also, if you're thinking about buying or selling and you're really just not sure where to start, what's the first step, who do I talk to, all these different things, shoot me a DM or a text. I'll actually text you back. It won't be a chatbot, it'll be me, and I can hook you up with free buyer's guide or seller's guide. I'll just send that right to you. No obligations to work with me. I can just send you a guide. But if you do have questions, shoot me a text and we can talk about some of those things. So without further ado, that's what we say on YouTube. Let's get into this market report. Okay, so Saskatchewan monthly market report. It's April 2025, and we're looking back at last month's data for March. So we always look at the last month's data. These are put out by SRA. So SRA puts these together, Sask Realtors Association, and they give us a bunch of data on what's going on. Kind of a little blurb here, so I'll get into it. Yes, we know in Moose Jaw it's a seller's market. We're low inventory, sales are up, prices are up, everything like that. So let's look into why that's actually happening and why everything's getting so crazy here. So Saskatchewan housing market continues to exceed expectations and defy national trends. We got, 1,277 sales in Saskatchewan. We're going to get into Moose Jaw in a little bit. We got new listings decreasing by 2% year over year, which isn't good. Our inventory levels are low and they continue to worsen, which is, everywhere we're working, right? Saskatoon, Regina, Moose Jaw, everyone's down on inventory. No one has inventory right now. So that's kind of the big problem that we're running into. There's nothing to buy. This also leads to another problem for sellers is, hey, my family's growing. I got this job, whatever's going on. I need to move, but I need to sell my place to buy a house. Well, you can sell your house, but what are you going to buy? That's kind of the big problem right now. Yes, you can sell, conditional, or you can buy conditional upon sale of your home, but if there's 5 other people that don't have that condition, why would someone pick your offer? So these are just some of the challenges that we're running into right now and some of the things you want to think about as you make a plan. If you need to sell to buy, or you just are buying, or you just are selling, all those scenarios look different, and we want to set you up so that you're successful with that and you can get the max dollar or you can get the best price. Okay. They are, there's so much going on. We got tariffs, we got an election, we got all this stuff going down. So in the face of, as they're calling, significant headwinds, like what actually is going on and what's going to happen to our market. And honestly, probably no one knows. We got rate cuts coming, we got all this stuff going on. So what's actually going to happen? Nobody knows. The classic line is, oh, if I had a crystal ball, I'd tell you. And no one has a crystal ball. No one can tell you. So it's kind of interesting that way. I always like to think back to COVID. Not that COVID was awesome. It was a weird time. But at COVID, it was like, we had all these uncertainties. We didn't know what was going on. And looking back on COVID, if you look at the numbers, everyone in real estate knows that was probably one of the best times to buy. So as we face this uncertainty ahead, is this potentially one of the best times to buy before things start to go up again? I don't know. Guess we'll see. Anyway, so the biggest thing, severe inventory shortages. Saskatoon has only 0.98 months of supply, super low. Regina closely behind. Moose Jaw, we're not that low, but like same thing. Like these are low inventory numbers. We're down on inventory, and we say that like there's just nothing to buy. So even here you can see our inventory is down 21% year on year. 10-year average, we're down 47.7% on inventory of what we typically have in 10 years. So there's literally nothing to buy. Anyway, spring market's here. Busy market. This is what we always see as one of our busiest markets. And we continue to see near record demand, and there is enough inventory to meet the demand of buyers right now. Okay. So the biggest thing, and I think this is, awesome for me when I'm a real estate agent, but hey, the expertise of a real estate agent is really crucial. It's really important. There is opportunity. So if you're just like sitting at home, you're on Realtor.ca and you're like, well, when the right one comes out, I'll message an agent or whoever. Like you need to be connected with an agent so that they're ready to go. They're looking out for you. Agents lots of times are the first people to see listings. They often see listings before they even hit MLS. So if say your agent sees that listing or knows that listing's coming out, they could potentially have you're like one of the first people in the door on that property. And for lots of my buyers, that is the case. We're the first people in. And then if they like it, that gives them a really good opportunity. So yeah, you really want to connect with an agent, especially in Moose Jaw. We're not seeing a lot of Form 917. So what Form 917 is, it's where you actually delay the offers. So you say, hey, we're going to list the house Friday. Everyone can come see it. And then on Monday, any offers we get, we're going to, show it to people. It's kind of a double-edged sword. It's really nice for buyers because you're actually able to go see the property. You have time. You don't have to rush. You can think about it. The downside is that it often leads to, the home selling over list price, and it can be really hard to, say, well, how much over list should I pay? What are you willing to pay? Can be good for sellers. Right now, we're not really seeing it in Moose Jaw, and truthfully, we don't really honestly see a lot of homes right now, and this might change. Maybe next month I'll be saying something different, but right now we're not seeing a ton of homes sell over list price. If it's really competitive, we're seeing them sell like at list or slightly over. Like I've seen some, it's like 1,000 over list, but we're not talking like 10, 20, 30 like in the big city. So again, connecting with your real estate agent is key. You want to make sure you got someone working with you, looking out for you, and that when a property comes out that meets your criteria, they're able to get you in the door the second it's on MLS. Lots of times agents can get you in the door before it even gets on MLS. So there's some advantages there. There's some like off-market deals, in-house listings. There's lots of different things we can do. If you're only looking on Realtor.ca, you're probably, this is a number, random numbers. No, I don't have a stat for this, but you're probably only looking at, 80 to 90% of the listings. And that means you're missing out on 10 to 20% of the deals, or 10 to 20% of the homes that might meet your criteria. So the next thing is our residential benchmark price, $353,000. We're up 6.3%. What is a benchmark price? It is just kind of the typical house in Saskatchewan. This is Saskatchewan data. So what does the typical house look like? There's some information down below and you can see, but the typical house is selling for $353,000. It's up 6.3% year on year. So we're up on that. Our months of supply, this is in all Saskatchewan. With a lot of rural, that can really change. But again, we're down in the big city. Okay. So, here's some sales by price range. Our big market, our most competitive spot is at 200 to 300,000. 300 to 400,000 is really popular as well. Okay. Anyways, some stuff I'm not really going to get into because this really is a video about the Moose Jaw market. But if this interests you, you can pause the video. You can check out the graph, all that kind of stuff. So let's look at Moose Jaw. So we're getting into Moose Jaw. We got 48 sales last month. That's up 23%. And our 10-year average, that's also up. So our sales are way up. Okay. Primarily, you can see here from the dark blue that we're pretty much a detached home market. There's very few other homes selling. We do have some mobile, we do have some apartment, we do have a little bit of row and townhousing, but really at the end of the day, if you're in the Moose Jaw market, you're probably looking at a detached home. That's where most of our buyers are looking. Okay. 57 new listings last month. We're down 12%. We should have more coming out. Benchmark price for Moose Jaw, $263,600. I'm highlighting stuff, not meaning to do that. We're in trouble. Oh no, fat fingers. Okay. $263,600. We're up 10%. So our real estate market is up. Buyers are paying more. And this is exactly what people said last year. They said, hey, every buyer said, well, I'm going to wait for the rates to go down, because rates were kind of high last year. Now they've come down. They're saying, oh, I'm going to wait for the rates to go down. Well, now that the rates are down, guess what's happened? The price of real estate has gone up, because now we have more buyers entering in. We have more people in this market. More people want to buy a house because the rates are down. So it's going to put the price up. And that's exactly what's happened. So we're seeing that now come to life, because last year, that's what everyone said is buy now because the price of homes will go up, even though your rate's a little higher, whatever. What was the line? Marry the house, date the rate. That's what people said. Anyway, so, we're seeing that come up. Anyways, 57 new listings. Our inventory, 110 listings. So we're down 14% year on year, and we've been down for a while, and we're way down 53% 10-year average. We have 2.29 months of supply in Moose Jaw, so a little bit better than Regina, Saskatchewan, but still not good. Our big competitive price range here is at 200 to 299, and then 100 to 199. These are our next two, but for sure lots of buyers are looking. Obviously it makes sense. This is our benchmark price. People are trying to buy a home in that price, and you can get a really nice 3-bedroom home, 1,000 square foot house, something with a garage in that price range. So that's what people are looking for in Moose Jaw. And I know if you're watching this, you're from the big city, that's pretty shocking, but you can get 1,000 square foot home, 3-bed, 2-bath with a 2-car garage, probably at the high end of this price range, maybe dipping into here, but depending on the home, location, all that stuff. Okay, like I said, there's not a whole bunch to talk about here. There's some numbers here, and if you're interested, you can pause the video and look. Or if you really want, I can send you this PDF. You can check it out on your own time. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. But at the end of the day, Moose Jaw is really a detached home market, and this just kind of breaks down what was up above there. Okay, so summary, inventory's down, prices up, lots of buyers, nothing to buy. Anyways, here's a chart. You can see this, here's our months of supply. You can see over the years, our month of supply is decreasing. Here's our month of supply trend. So here's our typical month of supply, and then it's going, down. Okay, so we've lost our month of supply. Here's our benchmark price. You can see that as we lose supply, our benchmark price is increasing. So we're up here at potentially a peak. This is the highest our benchmark price has been, in the past 10 years. So we're up. Our pricing on real estate is up. Okay. Detached pricing graph. You can pause the video if you want. Benchmark pricing graph, check it out. I'm going to get into Moose Jaw neighborhood stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about is this is a little neighborhood map that I kind of put together just to kind of break it down. Obviously, there's kind of micro neighborhoods or different neighborhoods people might talk about. But when we look at our real estate market neighborhoods, this is how it breaks down. So really, central is, Main Street to 9th Avenue, and then Palliser is 9th Avenue West to basically to Thatcher Drive. And then we have Hillcrest, which is on the other side. So we're going Main Street all the way over to the east. And people call this East End, like you live in the East End. And then we got South Hill, which is our West Mount Elsom neighborhood. And then we also have West Heath over here, which is kind of our newer side of South Hill. Most people would refer to this as South Hill. And then we have our north kind of side. We got a couple smaller neighborhoods in here. We have Sunningdale, which is a newer neighborhood. Then we have VLA. These aren't our big lots at Veterans Land Act. So there's some big lots in there. So if you're looking for a little bit of a backyard, this might be the spot for you. And then West Park is our new development there. And then Iron Bridge is our higher end, I guess, our luxury home development. So some pads out there. So that's kind of how this Sunningdale / VLA market breaks down. But let's look at what homes are selling for and how many homes are selling and what these popular neighborhoods are. So Moose Jaw neighborhoods, we'll start with Central. Central, we got 8 sales. We got 15 new listings. Inventory 24, so pretty regular. Central neighborhood is typical older homes. We have some character homes. We have some nice stuff in there. Nice little neighborhoods, all that kind of stuff. When we look at it here at the end of the day, the one thing I'll kind of point out is here's our, some data. Days on market for Central in March 2025, 42 days, with our average benchmark price as $206,900. So that's kind of what our average price is going for. Oh, it doesn't say it in there. Anyways, average price in Central right now is $206,900 for benchmark. Now the average of this month was $290, so that's totally different. But if you look at the typical home, going for about $206. Okay, so again, when we're only looking at 8 sales, it's not a ton of data, but it still is data nonetheless. Anyways, Hillcrest or our East Enders, we got 11 sales, which is up 57% year on year, which is up over our 10-year average. So more people are looking to that East End neighborhood right now. It looks like our monthly trend is up, $73,000 for average home. There's a lot of homes that are selling in this price range in East End. That's up 11% year on year. So homes are going for more in East End. Inventory, we got 19, months of supply 1.73. The one thing I'll point out here again is sales, we got 11 sales, average days on market 52, so they're sitting a little longer if you're trying to sell in East End. And again, when we see these homes, like, stuff's coming out, it's selling like, first day, second day, whatever, over the weekend, like that is a combination of you pricing your home right and having a home that everyone wants. So if you have a home in the worst location with no features, it needs a ton of work, and you're going to price it 10% over list, it's probably, or over what you should list it at, it's probably going to sit on the market longer than if you priced it properly. So that's just kind of what we're running into. And the other side of this, people are going, wow, everything's selling, I should sell. Let's ask for way more money than my house is worth. And that's not always a good idea either. Okay. Then we get into Palliser. This is a really popular neighborhood, known for its schools and parks and all that kind of stuff. People want to be in Palliser. Puts our benchmark price up to $289, up 8.1%. So if you were thinking about buying in Palliser last year, this time, now you're going to be paying 8% more for the average home in Palliser. Palliser's got a soft spot in my heart. I personally live in Palliser. I love this neighborhood. I think it's a great neighborhood. They're all good neighborhoods. Moose Jaw's awesome. Like, honestly, Moose Jaw neighborhoods are great. They all come with pros and cons, but at the end of the day, you got to find what works for you. But as far as like safety and stuff, Moose Jaw neighborhoods are pretty safe. So anyway, sales, we got 10 sales in Palliser. That's up from, last year. 8 new listings. Inventory's actually up in Palliser, which is awesome. Month supply 1.70. We got 10 sales. Our average benchmark price is $289,200. And then we have, one sec here, days on market 69. So things are actually sitting a little longer here, which is surprising. This is quite a bit up from, last month, or last year, sorry, when we had, average home sitting for 42. So stuff's sitting a little longer in Palliser this month. Interesting. Okay. There's your, what your benchmark attribute is. So a benchmark home in Palliser is 3-bed, 2 baths with a single garage, and it's approximately 1,000 square feet. That's kind of your benchmark home, the typical home in Palliser. Okay. VLA Sunningdale, we only got 1 sale. We got 10 listings, so stuff's maybe sitting a little longer. This is a higher price point in Moose Jaw, so we don't see a ton of action here, but our average home is selling for $459. That's, again, up 8.7%. If you want to move to Sunningdale last year, you're going to be paying 8% more than you did, or than you would have. Okay, our inventory, we got 20. So, when we see 20 homes sitting, only 1 selling, are we potentially, I don't know, a little overpriced in this neighborhood? I have no idea. Talk to your agent. But stuff's sitting here. We only got 1 sale. That's not great. So we don't have a ton of data. I mean, 1 sale is kind of a black swan. We can't really do a lot with that inventory, but do a lot with that data. Sorry, we got 1 sale. We got 20 sitting in Palliser. Average days on market is 13. So the stuff that's selling, I guess in this case, this house sold in 13 days. So that's kind of what we're looking at. So stuff selling quick in Sunningdale, but also sitting, according to the data. So anyways, we're up, our benchmark price up. This typical home in Sunningdale, see a little bit bigger square footage footprint. Okay, Westmount Ellesmere or South Hill. Okay, for those of you on the other side of the hill over there. Great neighborhood, honestly. Lots of cool stuff going down in South Hill. We got a new school coming down, opening up in 2025 September. That's gonna be awesome. Average price, average benchmark, $230,000, up 9.4%. Again, you're looking to buy in South Hill. Last year, you're paying 9.4% more. Okay, those rates came down and our pricing went up. Inventory, we still got inventory. We got 14 listings, which is down. Inventory in South Hill is down. Stuff in South Hill is selling fast. Lots of good homes in South Hill. South Hill's super mixed neighborhood. We got lots of old homes. We got wartime homes. We got brand new builds going up. We got a new school going up. We got Moose Jaw opening 52 new lots that you can build on. We just have so much going down in South Hill. So anyways, there's that. And that's our data. So West Heath, I maybe just kind of lumped into that. So anyways, that's our data for Palliser. The one other piece I do want to show you guys is this little piece right here. And I think this is really interesting stat that they don't include in their market report, but I really like it, is what is the average home in Moose Jaw selling for close to list price? What was it listed for and what was it selling for? And in this case, what we're seeing is that, these months we're selling close to 95, 96%. Things are picking up as we head into spring. Stuff is selling for in February, we're at 96.9, and then in March we're at 97.6. So if you are looking at buying a home right now, according to the numbers, according to the data, you're basically paying list price. Like, that's what you're looking at. You're paying list price for a home, or very close to. Okay, we are seeing some homes go over, but according to the data, the average home selling for 97.6%. So if you see something listed for 100%, a reasonable offer, or sorry, 100%. If you see something listed for 100K, reasonable offer is probably 97K. That would be what the average person in Moose Jaw is getting. So those are good things you can think about when you're working with your agent. You're looking at putting an offer in, you're looking at accepting an offer. What is the average person getting? Are we close to that? Does our house meet the benchmark criteria, or what? Because at the end of the day, you really got to look at the numbers on real estate. You can't just go off feelings. The numbers are legit. And if you just feel like, oh, I feel like my house is worth this, well, why is it worth that? Okay. We always have, we always think our house is worth more than what it actually is. I think my house is worth more than what it actually is. That's just how it is. We want the most money for our house. I get it. You got someone coming in giving you an offer. Well, what's a reasonable counter? What's a reasonable number to accept? And according to the numbers, 97% is a reasonable number. So with that being said, the last thing I want to show you guys, I told you, if you stay till the end, wow, like I'm 20 minutes in, like I need to stop talking. It's the teacher in me coming out. Okay, here's my website. But one thing that you can look at that my buyers are using, getting a lot of success with right now, is this Go Agent app. And there's a whole bunch of stuff and resources on here for you, but this Go Agent app has been really key. Lots of times these listings are coming out. You can actually connect with me here if you want to connect with me personally, but this Go Agent app is fantastic because it allows you to get listings the second they come out. They get emailed to you, and that way you can see them right away. They're right on your phone. You can run it on an app. You can run it through email. You get the access right away. This is really helpful. Realtor.ca sometimes is like 2 hours behind. Literally, that can make a difference. If some of these houses, when they're coming out, you could get in there right away. If you're not seeing that for 2 hours, you're contacting your agent, they're busy, you're busy, whatever, all that kind of stuff. The other trick, which I'll say, is connecting with an agent is just the key, because like I said earlier, lots of times agents get access to listings before they're listed, or they know about them, or they can actually show them and give you an in-house deal. We can sell stuff off market. So if you're not connected with an agent, you need to connect with an agent that has access to off-market inventory. That's one of the questions I'd be asking your agent right now if you're looking for an agent. How can you get me access to off-market inventory? What are you going to do for me to help me find a house before anyone else can see it? How can I be the first one in the door? And like I said, I just had a buyer get a house, and they're the first ones in. They got a deal. No one else has seen it yet. Whatever. Beauty. Okay, awesome for my people. Awesome for me. I love helping people out. That's why I started this. Started doing real estate so that I could help people find a house. So anyways, that is a big key. That is a thing that I would encourage you to do. So like I said, I've talked for way too long. I hope you enjoy this market report. This is my first one ever. I'm hoping to kind of, do more of these. And this is something that I'm going to try to do monthly for you guys, so that if you're interested in real estate, you're interested in the Moose Jaw market, that you can kind of get some good information direct from the source, right from SRA and all that stuff. So we're breaking down the data and getting into it. So if you like this and you thought this was helpful, if you could subscribe, if you could comment, give me a like, all those things help me down below. I also post tips on my Instagram and on my Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So give me a follow, and if you want to connect, shoot me a DM or send me a text message. You'll actually get me, and I'll actually text you back. So thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one.